Vlog day 215. Cheers. I said that like 100 days ago, didn't I? Cheers.
It is bitter cold out here. So I thought that today I might tell you a little bit about why it is that I struggle being in Spokane, because I don't know if it's apparent to you guys or not that I do, but I do hear people say, wow, you're different when you're not in Spokane. And the reason I don't talk about it is because it's really difficult to talk about in general anyways, and I don't want to be negative. I really don't want to be negative, especially not about, I like Spokane, and I'm happy that my family is here, but I do struggle being here. So, like any good pie, today's vlog comes to you in 3 parts, the bottom being a reaffirmation of the top, and the middle being pretty thick and juicy, but worth getting through.
One thing that might be good to clarify too is I'm not actually from Spokane. I've just lived here a couple of times, and I'm here right now. Fair warning, today's vlog is going to be a lot more of me talking and a lot less of like music, chop, chop, bounce, dancey stuff. So if you're just into that, come back tomorrow. I'll have something much more like it tomorrow. A lot of people assume that I'm from Spokane, which I'm not. I grew up in a small town south of here called Pullman, which is home to one of the major state universities in Washington State. And then I went to university in a town just 20 miles west of here. So Spokane's kind of been the metropolitan center of like my early life, but it's not where I'm from. And I've lived here a couple times on and off here and there, but I've never felt at home here. And that's really kind of what's been burdening me. And I've tried talking about this over the course of the vlog and always ended up really cutting it out because it's a hard conversation to have, and a lot of people get really offended when I talk about it here. So I end up feeling really vulnerable because I feel like I don't belong. And when I share that, people get mad at me for feeling that way, which only makes me feel like I don't belong even more. And so I have a really hard time talking about it. One of the things I really want to work on doing is being more vulnerable with the vlog and being more honest about a lot of things. Some things I probably just shouldn't talk about, but this is one of the things that I just feel like I need to just share because it's the truth. Within 24 hours of coming back from San Francisco, I mean, I felt, I'm terrible. Yeah, really bad. It didn't take long for me to just get frustrated and tired and it just wears me down. And so I wanted to explain that because there's nothing wrong with Spokane. Like I know that I know you're thinking about coming to Spokane. I think it might be a good fit for you. Low cost of living, great beer, great coffee, some great people, and like Auntie's Bookstore has been so supportive of me over the last couple of years. I can't speak highly enough of them. There are a number of things about Spokane that I really do love, and I'm always happy to come back. I really love coming back to visit, but I don't enjoy being here to stay. And it's a really long conversation, but I want to put it in terms of resources because I feel like that's the least controversial way of putting it, and hopefully like the easiest to understand. The lighting just changed because I realized my laptop was probably casting a ghostly hue on my face, and that's not what I'm going for. The analogy would be, if I wanted to be a professional sailor, I would have to leave because while there's a river here and there are lakes, it's not the same as going out on the ocean. It's not the same as getting an education from somebody who's spent their life on the open seas. And then coming back and doing a thing here would be great. But the opportunities are greater if you go to the coast. There are more ships, more companies, more fishermen, more everything. And you have greater chances of actually having a real career if you go that way. What I always run into here is the mentality of people saying, well, you want to be a fisherman or you want to be a sailor, why don't you just stay here? We have lakes, we have a river. Just do it here. Can't you do it here? And the answer is really no, I can't. And similarly with writing, there's not a real writing community here. There are no publishing professionals here. There's nobody here that's really going to step in and have a direct impact on my career. That's going to invest in me that I can build that kind of a relationship with. Just to give you an example, because again, I get this a lot, and believe it or not, this is really kind of hurtful to hear, but people will say, well, how do you even know that's out there? Like, if you're going to go out, like, how do you even know that something better exists? The answer, of course, I've been to other places, but it's really hard to say that without sounding kind of like a condescending douche. And so that's one of the reasons why this conversation is just so hard to have. And I try really hard not to. But to put it into like a recent example, I spent the last year here mostly, and I even had art up for 6 months. I've reached out. I've tried to be a part of the community. I've really tried. And, you know, I barely was even able to sell any art or any books. What I'm creating and the books that I'm writing and the art that we're developing and everything just doesn't really strike a chord with people here. They're not interested. And that's okay. They're into something else. But I can't survive off that here. And I'm not going to be a hobbyist. Like, this is what I want my career to be. This is what I want my life to revolve around. And so I need more support. In contrast, when I was in San Francisco for like 3 days, went to Oakland for an hour to meet with a friend for coffee. And she was writing. She said, hey, come down and write with us. Turns out there are a bunch of writers there. They're really cool. I get along with them fine. We get to chat a little bit, talk about, writer stuff. I don't know, but it's different. Lo and behold, I didn't realize this, but sitting across from me are editors for one of the more prestigious magazines in the industry. And I happened to give some books to my friend as a thank you for the help that she gave us on Boomerang. When I left, they took a look at them and were like, these are really cool. Like, would you have him send us some? We'd love to review them. So she asked me, and of course that's who I sent those to. And that happened within an hour of just having coffee, just like a regular their day to day. They just do this, and now not that they're necessarily even gonna like my books, but now they have my books, and who knows what happens from there. And imagine what would happen if I could cultivate those relationships on the regular, like if that was my world, and if I was able to sit down with people and just make friendships, and not even any, just for the support of it, just for the understanding of it, just for the ability to sit across from someone and say, how did you figure out how to write a scene like this? Being able to learn from people. Those are the kinds of resources that are out there, and there are communities out there, and they exist, and that's what draws me to go elsewhere. So that's part of it, and I just wanted to explain that because I feel like my energy is lower here. I have a lot harder time creating vlogs here, doing so many things here. It's so much more of a struggle, and I thought I would just tell you about it. And if any of you are struggling with anything like that, I'm sorry, and please leave comments, reach out. I would love to just chat. It's hard, and I'm so lucky to have the friends that I do have, and we are so lucky to have the internet that we can continue to communicate, and that I'm not completely isolated. But that's been really heavy on my heart, and I'm having a hard time sharing that, and I hope that I did a good job of it. And if I didn't, let me know, and I will try to do better. I know this is a really long format. I will get back to regular vlogging tomorrow. Thank you for watching. Please do subscribe. I'll see you tomorrow.